Look, dude, I told you to go and get that job to make ends meet.
Yeah.
But if you're not consistently working towards this long term vision, then your job is unsustainable. The
Yeah,
reason why,
absolutely.
yeah, the reason why we get so fed up with a job, the reason why we have such a difficulty, why we have to quit or we just rage inside is because we're doing something that is not tied to what we want to do, who we actually are, where we want to be, everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is sustainable to go to a job to make ends meet when outside of that job, you're working towards a dream, a vision, a career.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is not sustainable to have a dead end job and to come home each day and just try to be happy without that thing that exercises where you want to go. Does that make sense?
Absolutely true. Yeah, 100%. And that's something I didn't see years ago when I was working in all my part-time jobs, whether ski instructor or whitewater rafting guide, or even working part-time in a gear store in New York. Uh, I I was just in like a suspended animation mode where just I could only see forward to the next day or the next week. When I was 30 and newly divorced in New York, I allowed that to get me down, and I didn't look at my life 10 years ahead and say to myself, "Oh, where am I going to be when I'm 40?" I ignored all that. Now that I'm 40, I want to look forward and say, "Hey, where do I want to be when I'm 50?" And I know where I don't want to be. I don't want to be in this same situation that I'm in right now, trying to figure things out, working part-time job, just trying to pay bills, wondering like, oh, what am I living for just to make rent? Uh, I want to have a fulfilling life, professionally, personally, something that I can be proud of and share with my family and friends.
Yes, and we've talked about this quite a bit. Is when you're thinking of what it is that you want to do, I've told you think 5 years down the road, think 10 years down the road, what life is going to be like, and work your way backwards. Right. The one thing that I want you to remember, I don't ever want you to think, don't equate where you will be with happiness or where you're trying to be. This future version, this 10 years down the road, I really wanted, when I told that to you, I wanted that to be an exercise to make sure that you're choosing a path that you're not going to later regret. You're not going to
Yeah,
go down that path and be like, man, I'm boxed into this thing now that I had no idea, studying a degree in psychology would get me to a place where all I'm doing is designing surveys for this company,
right.
because
Yeah,
a lot of psychologists are doing, like psychological surveys and like things like that for Match.com or whatever it is that, whatever jobs they find. Maybe their vision was to own their own practice and do something else. So I've always wanted you to choose something with a vision of where you want to be. That
yeah,
said, I want you to enjoy the best of it. And honestly, the best of it is every step from now until that place. It's this journey of going to where you want to go. It's
right.
not something that you're going to enjoy once you get there. You should be enjoying the process of learning how to get a book into print, of learning how do I release something? How do I get it into Amazon? How do I go and do this on YouTube? Now I'm going to repeat this formula. You're going to develop this formula and then you're going to repeat it until 5 years down the road, you have hundreds of books. You're a well known children's author, and it will look like magic to the person that was
Wow.
outside of this.
Right. Yeah. They because they won't have seen the process at the beginning.
They will not have seen the process at the very beginning.